Hey everyone, here we are, lesson 6, level 7, choosing your own adventure by overriding the equals method. Just takes some practice, So I've got these poems. My guess is I'm going to try to find some things that are the same. So I'm in the library runner class, and I have a 1D array of poem objects called poems. And notice it looks like there's an author for each poem object and a name. Author and name, author and name, author and name, author and name. So that seems the way the poem objects work. And then there's a library object called catalog, which is probably what we're going to use to find duplicates, but we'll see. But we pass the poem array to this library object, and then we're going to create a new poem object. And this is another is its name, and it is T.S. Eliot 4 Quartets. So my guess is we are going to see if maybe the author matches up between the poem objects in this array and this poem object. Does the author match, or does the title match? And let's see, we are going to call out, we're taking the catalog here, and we're going to get similar poems from we're comparing it to the another. We will see. So let's look at the poem class first. So it takes an author and a title. That's what the constructor tells us. It takes an author and a title. We got a get author method, a get title method, and here is the equals method that we need to override. And there's the toString method. It will return a title by the author. Let's go to the library class, where it takes an array of poem objects, and that's what the constructor tells us. We get poems. Now look at the similar poems. So get similar poems. So we are passing it the other poem, and what we're doing is we're going through the poem array one by one and seeing if it equals the other poem object that is there. And so we are trying to overwrite that. No poems found, no poems found. Let's run this and see what happens. No poems found. Very good. So let's overwrite the method. So we need to check if two poem objects have the same author. We just know, do they have the same author? And if the authors are the same, return true. Otherwise, return false. So first off, I'm just going to check, is the other object pointing to the same thing as this object? In other words, is the other object and this object, are they actually aliases of each other? So if this object is actually pointing to the same place as the other object, I'm going to return true. Now, if the other object is an instance of, I always forget if it's capital F or O or not. Is it an instance of the poem? Is it an instance of a poem? Is it a poem object? Is the other thing even a poem object? And if it's not that case, I want to return false. But now I need to check if they have the same name. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, I forgot to have my curly braces in here. That's what I forgot. There you go. So I'm going to create a poem object, and I'll call it other poem. And then I'm going to take that other object that I'm working with, and I'm going to cast it as a poem. And then what I'm going to check for is if this poem that I have dot get author, is that a get author method up here? Get title, get author. So get author, if that's the same as the other poem dot get author, whatever that is. So if it returns true, great. If it returns false, great. So I think that's all I need. I think this is all I'm going to need to override the equals object. Let's see what happens. I'm kind of nervous. I never know. I think it's the instance. So that's okay. I need to remember this. That's just an O, a lowercase o. Unless I misspelled it. And I did. So there are the two poems that are also there by T.S. Eliot. So it's very similar to overriding the string method, but I've got to do a little bit of work. A little bit of work, but that's okay. We'll get it.